stress, is become an epidemic. Our bodies, evolved millions of years ago to be able to help us survive, you know, a saber-toothed tiger, right? And that was the major stress that our bodies focused on being able to deal with, is that kind of high emergency type of situation. And so in that situation, when somebody is presented with a strong stress like that, the body responds by putting out cortisol and adrenaline. These have the effect of, number one, raising our blood sugar so that we can either fight or run, but also they give us sort of a tunnel vision so that you focus in on whatever that stress is. And if it's a tiger, yeah, you want to focus on the tiger. You don't want to be thinking about, oh, what's going on over there? You want to focus on the tiger, right? Which is very beneficial in that situation. But the body doesn't make any kind of distinction as to stress. It's either stress or no stress. So that was the stresses then. The stresses today are the news, the traffic, your boss, your spouse, also there's just constant stress. And as a result, again, due to the fact that our body doesn't distinguish between different types of stress, we're constantly in that fight or flight mode. That leads to a number of problems. Number one, again, if you're in tunnel vision, then you don't have the opportunity to see that there are other possible solutions to whatever the problem is. You focus on the solution itself, on the problem itself. And so it is more difficult to find solutions to things. You become obsessed with whatever the problem is, as opposed to looking for solutions. But in addition to that, when somebody is constantly under stress, their blood sugar is constantly running high. As a result of that, they can develop insulin resistance. They can develop diabetes. They can gain weight, because when you're not physically burning that sugar, running or fighting, then your body doesn't like to waste calories, because we come from a evolutionary time where food was scarce. So the body didn't want to waste any food, any calories. So now your blood sugar is high because you're stressed, but you're not physically active. So your body will take those calories and store them as fat. So even though you may be trying to eat well, you may be, trying to get some exercise during the day, if you're just constantly under stress, it's gonna be like one step forward, two steps back. Okay. What happens over time is the adrenal glands were, again, designed for a time when stresses were very serious, but not frequent. So in that scenario, our adrenal glands had time to recover. It wasn't like you were being chased by a tiger every day. It was, once a month or something, something much more less common. But when you're now these days being chased by that tiger every day, all day long, your adrenal glands get tired. I mean, they can't just constantly put out cortisol. They don't have an opportunity to recover, especially if we're snoring or if we're not getting enough quality sleep, because that's the only time generally we get downtime these days, as opposed to our ancestors. So now the adrenal glands are being called upon to put out cortisol day after day after day. And they get to a point where they just can't do it anymore. They're tired. It's the analogy I like to use. It's like your adrenal glands are designed to be a sprinter, able to run 100 meters super fast. But they didn't run a race every day. They ran a race, once or twice a month. These days, we're telling that sprinter, okay, today we're not going to run a sprint. We're going to run a marathon, okay? But I want you to do it at that sprinter's pace, because that's the only pace you know, okay? And then you know what we're going to do tomorrow? We're going to do another marathon. and the day after that, we're going to do another marathon. Like, how long do you think that sprinter is going to last, right? He's going to die of exhaustion after a while. And the same thing happens with our adrenal glands. And they stop putting out enough cortisol. When that happens, we are exhausted. We seek a stimulant like coffee or carbs, carbohydrates, to give us a lift. Mentally, we feel foggy. Generally, we are, because we're making poor eating choices, we're putting on weight. Our immune system is down. We're more prone to allergies and sinus issues and whatnot. Um, we're just not functioning at the level we're capable of.